I think it's working this time, but I don't know. Let me see. Hold on. Let me fix this on the computer. What up, MJ and Trey's World? What up, that guy? There we go. Now we're working. Now we're working. We finally got it working on the proper vertical way. And let me see if I can. I just have to re-push out the link. I messed up. Hold on. Let me fix this. All right, bet. We will let everything pop in as it goes. Everyone, if you haven't already, please hit that like button if you could. Helps the stream way more than you know. Had technical difficulties previously before, but we got everything fixed now. What's going on, guys? Yuji can beat Druve. Yuji gets smoked by every special grade. Not gonna lie. Thank you, Leo. I appreciate that. What is Geto going to do against 8 Black Flashes in a row? I really don't know if Geto would even be able to come close to Yuji, which is really the biggest issue. Because Geto doesn't even have to go near Yuji. Geto can literally, if we give Geto like 8,000 Curse Spirits like we did previously, then I mean, he was able to launch all of Jujutsu Society besides Gojo and Yuta into a prolonged war that they were not going to win. Geto, I think, prescribed himself having like over a 90% chance of victory even before having Yuta. And then once he had Yuta, once he had Rika, that would give him like a 99%. I don't think he can even 1v1 Dagon. Listen, all special grades are special grades because they're able to take over, whatchamacallit, they're able to take over the entire Jujutsu regime. Now, like, even if you want to say like Yuji beats Geto like in like a 1v1 fight, if we give Geto 8,000 curse spirits, the 8,000 curse spirit Geto that could have beaten Yuji, I think it would be a pretty close fight, don't get me wrong, but I definitely think 8,000 curse spirit, Geto is an issue. My big thing that I think I don't want to get into the weeds about Geto. I think one of the biggest things for Yuji is going to be that I have seen people go up against is Yuta and Yuji. I'm Yuki. Like Yuta and Yuki are both two special grade characters that are 110% going to, without a doubt, defeat Yuji. I am honestly genuinely surprised and still cannot believe that there are people out there that think that like Yuki was literally able to fucking blitz Kenjaku's arms off. Like, what is Yuji gonna do against Yuki? I think a lot of people severely underestimate the special grades in the series and also severely underestimate the people they think should be special grade. Does Yuji even have decent domain refinement to clash with other special grades? Because if not, then he gets domain diffed. I mean, the one thing that I would definitely give Yuji is his domain expansion is definitely very powerful, like insanely powerful. We definitely have to give him that, specifically because he was able to not only like create his hometown, but like have active fishing in it. He was able to walk across all of the different memories of his childhood. It's just absolutely crazy the kind of power that Yuji's domain actually is capable of. So I wouldn't ever want to get down to like, would Yuji's fortification be bad? Because you have just as much of an argument going for Yuji as you do for Yuta when it comes to domain expansion. Yuta was complimented by Sakuna specifically because Sakuna was like, hey, the fact that Yuta is able to have me in the domain, also Rika and Yuji, and only have Jacob's Ladder affect me is some big stuff. Like, that is really, really crazy stuff. Who would win, Monkey D. Luffy or Yuji? 110% Monkey D. Luffy, without a doubt. Oh, you got him before I did, Tiberius. Good for you. Good for you. This is some new levels of rage bait, bro. I mean, it's not again like I just want to make it very clear. Like none of this is rage bait. These are all like fully concrete opinions. I literally went through all of Shinjuku Showdown. I went through Yuki versus Kenjaku. I went through all of these relevant fights in the series just to make sure that I'm not coming crazy when I make these lives. 100% I need to ensure that these are reasonable arguments that I'm making before I'm putting them out into the world. I'm not just trying to say whatever because I don't want to ruin my credibility. I know a lot of people don't think that I just say stuff to say stuff, but that's not the case at all. Didn't Yuji hit four black flashes in one? Yeah, I mean Yuji's strong as hell, but I definitely don't think he's beating Yuki or Yuta without a doubt. Yuji might handle Yuta no Rika in close combat, but other than that, Yuta wins against Yuji. Yeah, Yuta 110% wins without a doubt. The reason why Yuta wins is, for one, Yuta has Jacob's ladder without a doubt. And even if you want to argue that, let's say, for example, Yuta and Yuji get into a domain clash specifically, the reason why is if Yuta is able to make his short hit affect Jacob's ladder, I have to imagine that there's going to be some kind of effect similar to like a Gojo Sukuna domain expansion battle where you've got Jacob's ladder slowly wearing Yuji's domain expansion down, and if it is just Yuta versus Yuji in the fight, honestly, weirdly enough, I feel like Yuta in his domain expansion is a little bit less of a viable fighter compared to Yuta outside of the domain expansion, just because Yuta outside of the domain expansion, yes, he only has like a 5 minute limit of what he can do, but he's able to just use his curse techniques as he pleases. Like he can just use sky manipulation, which is a big deal, by the way. Sky manipulation against Yuji is huge because if Yuta is using sky manipulation, he can literally just use the sky and the fucking surface as a surface itself and pull Yuji's attacks away, just like Yoro did. So even though Yuta has soul punches, Yuta in synchronization with Rika is still able to fight close quarters without actually taking direct damage. And on top of that, Yuta can fight long range as well. He also has Future Sight with Charles' curse technique. And again, Jacob's Ladder was shown to damage Yuji. Not only does it extinguish curse techniques, which is why I think that if it was a domain clash, it's not a domain clash that would be able to last forever, right? Like Yuta would eventually, like Yuta would take out the Yuji's domain. I don't know why I made the sound effect for that of the Yuji's domain losing the clash, but you get what I'm saying. Mewtwo or Sukuna? Probably Mewtwo. I feel like isn't Mewtwo like planetary fucking devastation? I literally just did a bunch of Pokemon videos, and I'm pretty sure Mewtwo is literally able to destroy the planet. I mean, he absolutely dominated a huge part of Celadon City, or was it Cerulean City, in the manga. It like literally effortlessly. I'm agree with you. I don't even think Yuji special grade even by the end of the series. 110%. A lot of the times I get a lot of people arguing with me that are saying, uh, Yuji is going to be special grade later on. I'm not talking about, Jujutsu Kaisen Jujutsu Kaisen 2, right? Maki's the matchup for Yuji. Maki is a really good matchup for Yuji, 110%. Maki and Toji are pretty good matchups. Three Finger Sukuna versus Yuji. Oh, I would definitely think that Yuji has surpassed Three Finger Sukuna at this point. I would definitely think Yuji has 100% surpassed Three Finger Sukuna at least. Like, I definitely think Yuta would be able to give I think Yuji would be able to give Yuta a good fight. Current Yuji beats Mahito, bro. On his own, potentially, but the thing is you have to remember that current Yuji no longer has Sukuna inside of him, which means current Yuji has literally no defense against Mahito's Idle Transfiguration outside of general cursed energy output. Yuji's defense against Idle Transfiguration is going to be a little bit better than someone like Nanami's, because remember, Mahito estimated Nanami would only be able to handle like one more Idle Transfiguration hit but by subconsciously defending his soul, whereas like Yuji might be able to survive like a decent amount of soul hits. But again, without Sukuna, Mahito's domain expansion 100% can idle transfigure and harm Yuji. I'm not saying that Yuji would lose guaranteed, but he does lose a huge advantage that he had previously. I think he's definitely so. The thing is when it comes down to it, and a lot of people think that the being able to handle single handedly take down a nation is like a bad thing in the story or like some kind of terrible argument or like some kind of terrible statement, but it completely matters. It's literally one of the most important things in the world because the whole point of being special grade, as explained by multiple people in the series, is that special grade are characters that are able to threaten the current regime of Jujutsu Society. When people say you can handle a nation, they don't just mean, oh, you could go conquer, a small, tiny nation with no military force, and there you go, you're special grade. That's not what that means. What that means is you're able to stand opposed to Jujutsu Society on your own. Geto was able to stand opposed to Jujutsu Society on his own. He literally plagued the entire Sorcerer world into a war that only Gojo and Yuto were able to stop. And Yuto was only able to stop it because Geto was off fighting a war in another place entirely. People on TikTok are seriously arguing who wins between Sukuna and Sasuke. Yikes. I mean, what are you going to do, man? Special grade cursed spirits or special grade sorcerers? 100% sorcerers. Sorcerers is most important. I definitely think like Yuji, like I'm not talking about special grade curses. I mean, special grade curses are a big difference. Like but also you have to remember special grades are a big different range because I don't think Yuji just beats every single special grade that exists either. Like obviously the finger bearer is like the lowest form of special grade curse that you can possibly have. Whereas like let's give an example. Like the reason why I think like Yuki is a much stronger and a much more powerful special grade candidate is specifically because she one shot no diffed that one curse spirit that Kenjaku had in the Star Temple that was supposedly quite literally able to just erase obstacles in its way, and it just like completely like lifted the entire US military up and just like destroyed them and killed them. Like that special grade curse spirit, that Ganesha curse, was like an insanely powerful curse spirit. Like it needs to be reminded. And Yuki quite literally one shot that shit with its fucking with a Garuda goal kick. Feetless curse, by the way, the from what it is described, even if it was just being able to lift people up and restrain them while they're in the air, what's Yuji doing if he's just in the air stuck and can't move and he's just flightless, zero gravity? I can't. He's just dog paddling in the air and then he gets cooked. You know, I don't like there are 110% differences in like special grade curses handling Yuji. Like I also don't think Yuji would be able to beat Kurorushi. Kurorushi is like the way that Kurorushi works is like a direct counter to Yuji without a doubt. Yeah, domain expansion, that's a really good point. You definitely have a domain expansion, but someone on the level of Kurorushi, the fact that Yuji is resorting to domain expansion, and even then, that's even if Yuji's able to get his domain expansion off before he's completely devoured by cockroaches, dog. Like, as much as I love Yuji, don't get me wrong, I love Yuji. He is at a big disadvantage against a lot of people. Kurorushi folds pretty much anyone without RCT? Yeah, without a doubt. I would love to handpick 5 JJK characters to put in the Dark Tournament. I don't know how well that would go. Apparently, Yu Yu Hakusho characters are absolutely ridiculous. Real quick, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps the stream way more than you know. The stream is, of course, as always, sponsored by GamerSubs. Thank you, as always, GamerSubs, for sponsoring the stream. Use code NOOP at gamersubs.gg. Get your Ultimate Energy supplements now. They are absolutely delicious. I'm literally drinking some right now. Love it. Delicious. Get some 10% off. Use code NOOP. Who do you think is the strongest JJK character that end of series Kaneki can beat? I'm not entirely sure where Kaneki would scale after Tokyo Ghoul's ending. I'd have to look into a little bit more of Tokyo Ghoul's scaling, to be honest with you, but I don't know if end of series Kaneki would do very well. Yuji heals and beats Kurorushi down. Also, I was talking about Ganesha when I said domain expansion. The only reason Kurorushi instantly revived is because it had time due to the culling games. I mean, the thing is like Yuji's reverse curse technique is like not the greatest. He has to Yuji's reverse curse technique. He needs to hit a bunch of black flashes to do so, and a character like Kurorushi doesn't have to even get close to him using the black flashes. And on top of that, Kurorushi had the life festering sword, did he not? Where like he hits you and then all of his parasites get inside of you. Absolutely insane. Yuji was 3 months into JJ Tech and was already swapping hands with special grades. His body is a literal special grade curse, not to mention having his own cleave and dismantle, piercing blood, and having his own shrine. I mean, to remind you, like Yuji doesn't have piercing blood, right? Yuji doesn't have his own cleave, also, right? Like these are things that Yuji does not have. Yuji can't even use blood manipulation without someone doing convergence for him. At the absolute best, Yuji is able to spit blood and make his blood burst on someone if it gets onto someone. So he can like throw his blood around. I think he can also reattach his limbs if they get separated. But it's to be very important. It's very important to distinct that Yuji does not have blood manipulation. He's very inexperienced. He'll get blood. He'll probably learn blood manipulation after the series is over, but that's not what we're talking about. I think most of all, it's also important to realize that like Yuji does not have cleave. Yuji has dismantle, right? And also Yuji's dismantle only works off of physical content. Anti Yuji quotes. I mean, like I'm not even giving. I feel like I've been pretty fair to Yuji so far throughout the throughout the stream so far. Yuji's mental probably not going to be as strong as Sukuna's. Nowhere near as strong as Sukuna's. Post manga, Yuji's definitely special grade, and it was already confirmed he used RCT, just not on a high level. But you could. I mean, anyone can say that. Oh yeah, like in the sequel, like Yuji's gonna be stronger. Like, but there is no sequel, right? Like by the end of Jujutsu Kaisen, Yuji's not special grade, and also at the same time, Yuji like there's a diff that this is the whole point, right? There's a difference between special grade and what Yuji is. Like you can be very strong, insanely powerful, and able to even swap hands one on one with a special grade. That doesn't make you special grade. Being special grade is able to take down all of Jujutsu Society by yourself. Yuji cannot take down all of Jujutsu Society by himself. That's just not the case. It's not happening. There are plenty of people in Jujutsu Society that are more than capable of stopping Yuji. Again, you've got Yuta. Yuta would 110% take Yuji down without a doubt. You've got fucking who else is still alive? Who else is even still alive? You've got Maki who could definitely beat Yuta. I'm sorry, Maki who could definitely beat Yuji in my opinion. That's without a doubt as well. I think Yuji would probably be able to beat Hikari. To be honest with you, I would put them pretty close together. Well, remember, special grade sorcerers and special grade curses are different, right, Sir Benedict? I'm talking about sorcerers. Special grade curses and special grade sorcerers are two entirely different things. Why is special grade equals taking down all of Jujutsu Society? Because that's what special grade was described as, right? Their abilities are complete anomalies that potentially put entire nations at risk. Kenjaku quite literally confirmed this. They are characters that are able to take down Jujutsu Society as a whole by themselves, single-handedly. That's why Gojo got it. That's why Yuta, even though he had no quite literal experience as a sorcerer or anything at all, it was marked as special grade because Rika, at the time in Volume 0, was a curse spirit that only Gojo could have handled, right? Potentially Geto could have if he had all of his curse spirits. He could have beat Yuta and Rika. But as described as nations, the thing is like the description of nations, like we are reducing special grade at that point, right? It's we are reducing special grade. Like yes, nation, it is nation, but it is specifically meant as a nation of sorcerers, Because if we are just reducing special grade to, oh, anyone can take down a nation, and then you guys are sitting here talking to me like, oh, well, Yuji can take down the Vatican. Oh, Yuji can take down like this small random island country with no military. Okay, but like, so could a lot of different sorcerers besides Yuji. What are we gonna say that like Nanami was special grade just because Nanami could probably piece up the Malaysian whatever like military on his own, being a sorcerer? We one thing that I think a lot of people forget, because everyone likes to glaze like, oh, Yuji would definitely be able to take down a military. Yuji would be able to definitely blah 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 blah, all these fighter pilots and everything like that. Like, Helicopter Head gave the United States Army a problem. Why do people forget this? Helicopter Head was giving the United States Army a problem. Helicopter Head, the guy that had the fucking pinwheels spinny thing. What are we talking about? Like, I don't care that Yuji can fight the military. That's not the fucking point. When Yuji can take down an entire nation of sorcerers, talk to me. But until then, every other special grade can threaten all an entire nation of sorcerers. Yuki wouldn't be able to take down Jujutsu Society either, though. Yuki almost destroyed the entire planet. Yuki almost destroyed the entire planet. What do you mean? Hit the like button on the stream, guys. There's 162 people in here, and there's only 20 likes. It's crazy to me right now. Hit that like button, y'all. For people that saying Yuji had beat Sukuna, remember Yuji did not beat Sukuna on his own. All the people that say Yuji beat Sukuna are absolutely out of their minds. Delulu, I'm sorry, because I see that comment so many fucking times. I see the comment so many times. Yuji did not beat Sukuna. There was never a moment where Yuji was getting an advantage over Sukuna without help. There was even when Yuji was hitting the Black Flash combo, LaRue was stun locking Sukuna. You had Ino, who threw Ryu out, his strongest curse technique, and Ino was also throwing Nanami's curse tool to fucking boink Sukuna on the head when he hit the fucking giant fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's very important to remember, like, there's also a direct moment when Yuji and Yuta are fighting Sukuna in the domain expansion, and Yuta even admits, he goes, well, I'm glad that Gojo brought Sukuna down to this level, because if Sukuna was fully healed, he would have killed all of us in an instant. Yes, because 110%. Izakaizen, thank you for the 20. Thank you for the dono, brother. I appreciate that. I like Yuji, therefore he beats Yuta. Fair enough. I've changed my entire opinion based off of you, because I like you, Izakaizen. I appreciate that, but I'm happy to see you in chat. 110%. Love you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the gifted member, Tiberius. I appreciate that. Aubrey, do you think characters like Hikari would ever get the official title of special grade? Because in my opinion, he doesn't meet the requirements of special grade. No, I don't think Hikari gets special grade. I think characters like Hikari and Mechamaru are special. Because remember, when Mechamaru hits Ultimate Mechamaru and he's using like Vision Viola and everything like that, Kenjaku describes him as he may even temporarily reach the level of special grade. And at that point, I think that's a very important distinction to be made. And I think that explains a lot of the instances and a lot of the issues that a lot of people have when they have, hey, this character has this thing that I think makes them special grade. And it's like, okay, like, that's fine. But like, also at the same time, like, I don't think they're permanently, like, they might be that same designation of a temporary special grade. Kakashi Lover 58, thank you for the 5. I completely agree with your statement. Every time he's fought a special grade, he's had help. He can't beat special grades alone. Thank you, 110% Kakashi Lover 58. And that's not even hating. Like, I love Yuji as a character. Yuji's one of my favorite characters of all time. It's just Yuji usually 100% needs support to land his attacks. Purple Heart Neptune. It's hilarious when people say if Yuki is then Yuji, like, bro, they aren't the same. Yeah, like, that's also a huge distinction that I've noticed as well. That's a really good point. That for some reason people act like Yuki's also a punch kick merchant. No, she's not. She's not a punch kick merchant at all. She's actually extremely powerful when it comes to using her mass, and the fact that she's able to exert that mass onto Garuda, like, there's multiple moments in the Kenjaku fight where she literally one uses Star Rage with Garuda and just starts destroying the entire temple of everything. And sure, you could argue that Yuji's acrobatic enough to dodge that 110%. I'm sorry, has anyone been watching Dandadan lately? Has anyone seen what the evil eye was able to do with that grudge ball? I want you to imagine. I want you to picture Yuki and Yuji in the same environment, the same temple of the star, right? And I want you to start the battle with Yuki fucking blue lock goal kicking, blue lock that fucking blue lock goal kick Garuda, and then it just starts ricocheting off of that. I'm sorry, Yuji's getting his head busted off. And that's the thing is, yes, there's a limit to what Yuki can put mass on there. Well, there's not so much a limit of what the mass that Yuki can put on herself. Yuki quite literally can just exert all of that mass onto Garuda. It's actually insane. She also has a domain expansion, so it's not like Yuji would be able to just break her in a domain expansion. And Yuki, obviously, I think Yuki actually has, with the extra mass, is able to win in a hand to hand. Izakaizen, thank you for the 5. We should make a grade for characters that are like Hikari and Mechamaru. I mean, I think giving characters like temporary special grade, like I said, like Hikari is a temporary special grade when he activates Jackpot. I think that makes the most sense. I don't see why that even needs to be argued, right? Yuki's basically a punch kick merchant with a whip. No. Her output can drop a lot if she gets damaged. She uses RCT a lot. Well, yeah, that's very important. Her output does drop with her amount of damage, but the amount of damage she took was also the full force of Kenjaku's domain expansion, a sure hit effect attack that probably would have killed most other people. Wouldn't Geto be a possible fight for Yuji? Mecha like Geto is definitely like when if we're talking 1v1, if you put Yuji and Geto in a close quarters fight, I'm picking Yuji every single time. However, if we're talking the 8,000 curse spirit Geto that potentially has special grades and potentially has curses with domain expansions to make up for the fact that he doesn't have a domain expansion. I mean, obviously Geto is different. Like Geto I can't argue too much on because we only have volume 0 version of Geto and Teen Geto and Kenjaku. And while I can, and the thing is I would like to use Kenjaku for feats for Geto, but I can't. I can't personally, right? I don't feel comfortable arguing that. So it's kind of very tough to say. I can't really make too much of an argument towards Geto because all I have is Kenjaku. All I have is Kenjaku. I think Yuji can beat special grade curses. I definitely think that's possible. I don't think curses like Dagon, Jogo, or Mahito would be easy for him, though. I definitely don't think they'd be easy for him at all. I think they'd be probably extremely difficult fights. Do you think Yuji could beat Mahito now? Thank you for being a member for 2 months, Isakaizen. Do I think Yuji would be able to beat Mahito now? It's tough to say. By himself, I think he would do a much better job. With the domain clash, maybe. I don't know how fast Yuji is able to actually activate his domain expansion. That's a really good point. It's a really good point. Because 0.2 domain expansion is definitely going to allow Mahito to activate his innate technique way faster than Yuji's innate technique activates. And without Sukuna's defense for Yuji anymore, that might be GG's. But you know what? In an actual 1v1 fight, I think Yuji definitely presents a much better idea, but I don't know if he would beat Mahito, though. He probably would. He might. Do I think current Yuji could beat Tiberius? Nah. Tiberius would win. Yuji does not have piercing blood, though, unfortunately. Yuji does not. Yuji can't use convergence on his own. So Yuji's not able to fight long range with blood manipulation. He's only able to throw his blood around and make it explode, like make it like boil, like burst, like he did against Sukuna in the fight. Shibuya Yuji reacted to the 0.2. Shibuya Yuji reacted to the zero point 0.2, sure. Physically, is Yuji able to lay out his domain expansion in zero point 0.2 seconds? Something that so far only 4 characters in the story are able to do, right? Because Gojo, Mahito, and then you have Hikari and Higuruma most likely. What exactly do you think makes someone special grade, Noah? The ability to handle an entire nation of sorcerers single-handedly. The ability to be a threat to Jujutsu Society, Jujutsu higher ups at the time. The ability to stand to throw the entire regime of Jujutsu Society out of whack on your own. Yuki, Geto, Yuta, and Gojo, all 4 sorcerers that are capable of this. And that is also why I think those characters are marked special grade from the very beginning, as opposed to characters like Hikari and like characters like, Mekamaru, who are like, yeah, they might be able to, reach temporary special grade status, but they aren't a threat to all of Jujutsu Society. Didn't he beat Sukuna? Yuji did not beat Sukuna on his own. Yuji would not have been able to fight Sukuna on his own at all. He just wouldn't. Takaba could probably do it too. Takaba is a very weird case. Takaba is a very, very weird case. Extremely weird. It's tough to say. I don't know if I would give Takaba special grade. He's very close, though. He's extremely close. Like Megami with Maharaga, same thing. I would say Megami is temporary special grade because Megami is only, a special grade that could potentially take down a nation with Maharaga. And 9 times out of 10, unless that Maharaga is tamed, you're not going to be able to reach that special grade level. And even then, this Maharaga is, beatable. If, let's say, for example, like I would be interested to see like a Maharaga versus the Shinjuku Showdown video or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I would be extremely interested to see that. Like that would be very interesting. I would love to see how a group of sorcerers would be able to handle Maharaga because I feel like with the right circumstances, I feel like a group of sorcerers could probably take down a beast that isn't able to adapt fast enough. As long as they're able to like figure out the way that it works, figure out a way to do enough damage to it 2 times with 2 different abilities, I feel like that's actually like a very reasonable thing. Like I wonder if the Shinjuku Showdown squad would have been able to take down Maharaga on their own. I'd argue Yuta by himself could beat Maharaga via Jacob's Ladder. Probably. With all of the different curse techniques, as long as he's using a domain, it'd be very tough for Yuta. It wouldn't be easy for Yuta at all. But I think Yuta probably could with Jacob's Ladder. You're probably right. Jacob's Ladder or Malevolent Shrine. Thank you for the 5, Izakaizen. Do you think Yuji can reach the threat level of a special grade? I think Yuji is an extremely powerful sorcerer. I think he is in the top 10 sorcerers of the entire series. But I don't think he'd be able to... Ooh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to burp. That's the gamer subs coming back up. Yeah, I don't think he'd be able to handle all of Jujutsu Society on his own. Like, I just don't think that would happen. Shinjuku Yuji destroys Kid Yuta? I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, that's also, again, supposedly a Rika that Gojo would have risked his life fighting. So at the same time, like we have to remember that Curse Spirit Rika, when she was actually a curse in Volume 0, was significantly stronger than the Rika that Yuta has now. The Rika that Yuta has now is still extremely strong, though, to make it very clear. The Rika that Yuta has now, I believe Sukuna even said in the fight in Shinjuku Showdown that Rika was as durable as someone like Ishigori Ryu, however, was not able to put out the same kind of attack potency as Ishigori Ryu, so her presence didn't really make too much of a difference. So that's significant in a way, because she was still able to throw hands with Ishigori, and also it's important to denote that most people, if not almost everyone, is going to have a lower attack output than Ishigori Ryu, because Ishigori Ryu has the highest curse energy output in all of history. So there's a lot of important things to definitely keep in mind there. Some special grade level sorcerers with Tojimaki, Hikari, or Yuji who hit like trucks can't get the rank of special grade, but definitely because they can't 1v1 an entire military might. No. That's not essentially what it is. And again, I don't want to get bogged down on the whole military thing. Because the whole military thing, in my opinion, doesn't matter because there are plenty of sorcerers that can handle a military. Again, Helicopter Head was giving the United States military a hard time. Um, I think what is important is the characters are able to take on a nation of sorcerers, able to take on Jujutsu Society and present a problem to Jujutsu Society itself. That's why they get special grade, right? They are seen as threats to Jujutsu Society. That's why Yuta was deemed special grade. Rika was deemed a threat. If left unchecked, she could have destroyed Jujutsu Society or even posed a threat to Gojo. Thank you for the 5 gifted, Myers. Appreciate that. Always happy to see you. It's a Friday, baby. Let's go. Happy to see you, Myers. I should have known. Happy to see you. Yuji would definitely beat most special grades. I think we're underestimating the fact that Yuji has 2 curse techniques and a domain expansion. If Yuji learns more about Shrine, he might be second to Sukuna or Gojo. But no, we're not giving Yuji anything past end of series. And no, just because Yuji has 2 curse techniques doesn't mean anything. He hasn't mastered blood manipulation, so that's right out of the water. And his dismantle is not only lower output than Sukuna's, his dismantle is physical touch. He can't throw projectile dismantles. So that's also very important to remember too. Like he has to physically touch someone with the dismantle. He can't just he can't just do the fucking whatever fucking directional aim shot. Izakai's thank you for the 5. I feel like Megumi should be a special grade by technicality because of Maharaga. I would put Megumi again in the same class as like someone like Hikari or Mekamaru. Temporary special grade under certain circumstances. These characters could be special grade, but it's only under these very specific conditions. And yeah, again, I don't, and again, y'all glaze Maharaga so bad. I want to co-sign that statement because, again, I don't even know if Maharaga would be able to pose a threat to Jujutsu Society. I feel like if you put Maharaga up against the Shinjuku Showdown squad, I feel like the Shinjuku Showdown squad would probably win. You know what I mean? Like, I think Maharaga is pretty strong. And so, like, you know what? I'm actually going to take that back. You know what? I don't even think Maharaga gets temporary special grade. You know what? I'll take it back. I don't even think so. I don't think so. No, 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 no. Not enough. Not enough. Not enough. The issue is a lot of people think special grade has to do with the level of strength that you're at. I see a lot of people be like, oh, Yuji's only 16 and Yuji will become a special grade later. That's also not how special grade works. You either are or you aren't. You don't just get, wow, Yuji, you were so strong today. You know what? We're gonna give you the special grade ranking today because you did such a you get the special star on your profile because you're such a good egg. That's not how it works. That's not at all how it works. Special grade is specifically used for higher ups to keep tabs on the sorcerers that pose a threat to them. That's why Yuta was marked for fucking secret execution before Gojo even popped in. They weren't like, oh my god, another special grade. Thank God we needed some more firepower. They were like, holy shit, another special grade. We've got to fucking kill this person now. Just like what they almost did with Yaga before Yaga lied to them and told them that Panda was a natural fucking coincidence, a coinkydink, as opposed to what we see for the future that Yuta was quite literally, Yaga was able to create as many of these curse energy sufficient sorcerers as he wanted to. He could have created an army and stood against all of Jujutsu Society. Sure, Panda isn't a special grade curse spirit. Panda isn't a special grade fucking threat. But if you if you fucking made 15,000 of them, yeah, Yaga, you're a fucking problem, and we're gonna want you executed. Do you want to know why Gojo was marked as special grade and wasn't killed immediately? Because they couldn't kill him even when he was a kid. Even when Gojo was a child, Gojo would have fucking murked the higher ups. Geto is like the only character I think you could argue, and same with like Yuki, because you don't know Yuki's direct origin, you don't know how Yuki was found, and you don't know what level of power Yuki was found at. Because remember, it also depends on where these characters and where in their lives these characters were discovered. Because Geto could have been, you know, catching curse spirits and everything like that from the beginning, you know. Yuki could have been like a teenager who was already pretty well versed in her curse technique when the Jujutsu higher ups found her. So it's important to state like these characters are marked as special grade because when they find these sorcerers, they go, "Oh shit, these characters, this person could destroy everything that we've worked to achieve. This one character could pose a threat to everything that we've built. So we need to keep specific tabs on them. Specific tabs on these characters. You trust Kenjaku's view of special, but Yuji doesn't meet Kenjaku's view of special. That's the whole point. That's the whole entire point. Yuji does not meet Kenjaku's view of special. Being special grade is about being able to deal with special grade curses comfortably? No, it's not. This is never said once. Can I ask, now that I have one of you guys directly in chat, where has this ever been said or stated? Because it's not in the manga anywhere. Being able to exercise special grade curses has nothing to do with being a special grade sorcerer. Being a beating a special grade curse is something that Yuji, Megami, and Nobara do before Origin of Obedience. Like, that's also how I know 9 times out of 10, anybody who tells me that being able to exercise curse spirits special grades comfortably has not read the story or they went through TikTok. Because if you literally did watch or read the story, you would know, there was an entire story arc, a whole string of chapters that explained that after Yuji, Megami, and Nobara exercised special grade curses, they were recommended to semi-grade 1. Semi-grade 1. They exercised the special grade, and Jujutsu High was like, yeah, you're not even grade 1 yet. Grade 1s are supposed to be able to comfortably exercise special grades. That's the whole point of being a grade 1. The whole point of Jujutsu ranking is the grade of the sorcerer outranks the grade of the curse. Special grade curses are weaker than special grade curses are supposed to be weaker than special grade sorcerers. Yes, that's why the special grade curse Jogo gets no diffed by Gojo. And also, that's also one of the biggest problems with everything too, right? Is that so many people are upset with the ranking system of especially like Gojo specifically calls these people out because special grade for curses is a terrible thing, because it doesn't make sense, because it's easy, because you have people like the finger bearer and people like Sukuna in the same ranking. It doesn't make sense. The Jujutsu ranking system for curses is terrible. For sorcerers, it makes absolute sense. Hold on. I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss any donos. Izakaizen, thank you for the 2 special grade as a Jujutsu Society construct. Yeah, there you go. It's all a construct. It's just like time. It's just a man-made it's a man-made ranking. It's not even real. Izakaizen, thank you for the 5 as well. I think we should definitely take special grade with a grain of salt. I think the thing is I think it's relatively simple. I just think a lot of people overcomplicate it because they want people like Yuji or they want people like Hikari and Ishiguro Ryu and all these people to be special grade, when it's okay that they're not. They don't have to be special grade. Special grade was never, the point of special grade was never to be this like pinnacle of power that you're supposed to look towards. That's what grade 1 is. Grade 1 is the highest level of sorcerer you can possibly be at. That is like the goal. Like, right? Like, even Nanami, so many people say this. Like, don't compare yourselves to people like Gojo. Like, they are not something that you can achieve to be. You are, like, being top of society is at the top of grade one. That's what it is. That's the whole point. That's why, also, I'll argue tooth and nail that Gojo and Geto were special grade from the very beginning. They weren't grade ones that got promoted to adulthood, which, by the way, is never said in the story ever. This is information that, again, people have pulled out of their rear ends, that like Gojo and Geto were promoted to special grade later. Where in the story does it say that? It doesn't say that anywhere in the story, because you have that one panel of Geto comparing himself to a grade 1, and then and to when he absorbs Toji's curse spirit. But if you think about it for more than 2 seconds, you would question that, because why would Jujutsu Society's ranking system determine the level of curse spirit that Geto can absorb? Really and truly think about that. And I don't mean to be mean. I don't mean to be, but genuinely speaking, like, if that is the case, if Gojo and Geto were grade 1 and they got promoted to special grade later based off of that panel, if Jujutsu Society was telling Geto, you're grade 1, why in the world would that affect his curse spirit manipulation? Is it like a mental thing? Is it like a, well, they rank me as grade 1, so I can only take curses 2 levels? No, Geto probably wouldn't even follow that mentally, because he didn't even like Jujutsu Society from, they did what they would, Gojo and Geto did what they wanted from the beginning, because they were special grades from the beginning. That's why they were always treated with special care. And that's why they were seen as the strongest, because they were special grade from the beginning. Purple Heart Neptune, thank you for the 5. Op, just pull up the panel where the grading system. I wish I could. I could probably green screen it, but I would have to save it to my phone, and I can't leave the stream. I should have got it beforehand. But the point of the grading system, and the very original panel that we get, specifically, thank you for the 5, by the way. If I didn't say that, I appreciate you. The point of that is to show that, like, again, even that says grade 1s are about the same level, if not supposed to be stronger than special grades, because special grades have a very strong disparity. Special grades exist, special grade sorcerers exist as, again, this very specific thing, whereas grade 1s should be able to handle special grades. That's why you have grade 2s can handle grade 1s, grade 3s can handle grade 2s, I'm sorry, maybe grade 2s can handle, you get what I mean. Grade 1 can handle special grade. Grade 2 can handle grade 1. Grade 3 can handle whatever. Like, that's just how it's supposed to be. That's just how. I didn't make the fucking ranking system. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. Easy Cousin, thank you for the 2. Giga didn't think that one through. I think it makes sense. I might have not described it perfectly. I also might have been wrong in my description, because I feel like I didn't describe that or explain that well at all. But what are you going to do? When was the last time we saw grade 1 sorcerer best of special grade? We literally watched Mei do it. Nanami did it in... Toto does it in Volume 0. Like, what do you mean? No... Honestly, you have now Obito, when he's fighting Dagon, is literally, he says this verbatim and is genuinely surprised that Dagon is able to fight all 3 of them at the same time. Now Obito literally says, what kind of day and age is it that that a special grade can handle 3 grade 1s at once? Like, you have to remember that, like, the disaster curses were like obscene anomalies even in special grade cases. Like, up until Jogo and Hanami and even Rika, special grade curses were very low. Like not, they weren't weak, but they didn't usually give grade 1 sorcerers an issue. Right? That's also important to remember. Like, even now Bito, the old head in the room, is like, this is kind of fucking crazy. Like, we've got a special grade who's able to fight 3 grade 1s at once. That's a little interesting. And then now Bito proceeds to, like, continue fighting Dagon, and the whole domain expansion thing happens. But, like, that's also a very important statement to remember. Like, the disaster curses were, like, on a tier of their own in special grade. Overthrowing a nation is not the criteria for being special grade. People who say this have zero reading comprehension. Chementami, can you show me one special grade that doesn't have the ability to overthrow Jujutsu Society? Name me one special grade, because all four of them can. And surprisingly, none of the other sorcerers are able to do it. So it seems really interesting. Yeah, Shamanti is rage baiting. Yuki cannot do that. Again, Yuki almost destroyed the entire Earth. So we shouldn't even Yuki should not even be on the radar of characters that can't take down a nation. Yuki could literally destroy all of the world. So I don't even know why that gets brought up. Yuki had to die though. That doesn't change anything. That doesn't change the fact that by her curse technique, Yuki was a sorcerer that was beyond special and had a technique that could have threatened the entire Jujutsu world if they were not careful and did not keep her happy. That's the whole reason they let Yuki do whatever she wanted and still sent her a paycheck. She would have destroyed the world if not for her will. And yep, Yuki's arguably stronger than Gojo. Her threat level would still be considered beyond country level. You don't have to overthrow a nation. You need the power to overthrow a nation. You're still overthrowing a nation, right? We're playing semantics. Teen Gojo after awakening versus Yuta and Yuji. Even Teen Gojo was like no diffing fucking high level criminal sorcerers. Like he was famous amongst criminal organizations that existed that were like giving like you know what I mean? Like even Teen Gojo and Geto were some of the strongest sorcerers of literally even outside of the school. So like it's important to remember that. For how far have you gotten in the manga? We are done, baby girl. Baby girl, baby boy. Literally, only evil special grade is only evil because of Jujutsu side being so bad and sending people to die. Literally, Adrian's gaming universe. Bro was making old head assassins shit themselves at the age of 10. Literally, Coconut. Do you feel like end of series Yuta beats freshly awakened Teen Gojo? Yes, just because of domain expansion. I don't think awakened Teen Gojo had unlimited void, so technically speaking, Yuta could just domain and win. But I think physically wise, it'd be an interesting fight. You also have the downside of Teen Gojo having, I mean, technically, after he awakens, he does begin to learn the curse energy recycling thing. So potentially speaking, he might be able to, if you give it, yeah, I guess if you give it that, he does have permanent limitless, so he doesn't have that downgrade that Teen Gojo normally has. But yeah, I still think domain expansion would probably win. Myers, thank you for the 20. How do you think Teen Gojo would fare against the rest of the heavy hitters? Teen Gojo, honestly, if we're well, it depends if we're talking awakened or regular beforehand. I read it on Shonen Jump, so that's why. I read it on Shonen Jump just because and it has all the chapters up to the end now, but I think America only has volume 26 available. But yeah, Myers, thank you for the 20. How do you think Teen Gojo would fare against the rest of the heavy hitters? If we're talking pre-awakening, Teen Gojo gets pretty much stuffed on anyone by anyone that has a domain. Yuki with a domain would win. Yuta with a domain would win. Adult Ghetto might be the closest battle, honestly. And even then, it just depends. Because if it depends on the curses that Geto has. That's why I don't like arguing with Geto, because Geto completely depends on the curses that he has. If Geto, as long as Geto has a curse spirit with domain expansion, or at least two of them, he could probably beat most people with a domain. Because as long as he can get most people to use their domain once, most people can't use their domain more than once a day, right? Like only Gojo and Sukuna are like people that can domain twice. Like Yuta, maybe can domain twice, and that's a big maybe, right? That's a big maybe. I hated Geto for not confirming Geto had a domain or not, or at least a curse with one. Yeah, Geto just doesn't have enough feats after the power system was fully officially fleshed out. Um, but yeah, I would just argue that Geto can just use curses with domains. It just again, he just obviously Geto was taken out of the story, so we don't know if he would have had any curses with domains. Kenjaku does, I'm pretty sure, right? I mean he's got plenty of special grades. I'd argue Yuji Extreme Diffs Yuta if he has Furnace. Yeah, I don't know if Yuji would have Furnace. I don't think Yuji would have Furnace. Don't think that's something that Yuji would have because they while they are similar curse techniques, even Sukuna mentions that the curse techniques can develop differently for depending on the sorcerer, even if they're the same one. So that's why you've got Yuji's dismantle that causes requires physical contact. Yuji's dismantle is basically cleave. Did he have the smallpox curse? Yeah, Kenjaku might have. I don't know if Geto did, but that's a good point. The smallpox curse had a domain. If you don't think Yuji is in a special grade, what about Hikari? Hikari is not a special grade either. Hikari is 100% not a special grade. Do I think Hashimo is special grade? I would argue, he's probably like with Mythical Beast Amber. He might be. It depends on how far you're willing to take Mythical Beast Amber, right? Because we didn't see anything of Mythical Beast Amber either. But if we go with the definition of Kashimo's curse technique, Kashimo could potentially be like a nuclear level threat. Like, if we were giving him all of the phenomena of electricity, Kashimo can quite literally use nuclear level attacks. No curse technique, Kashimo is still special grade. No curse technique, Kashimo got thrown in the water and he was done, bro. That's not a special grade move to me. I'm sorry. Disqualified. 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 Show me what you've got. Mechamaru special grade full potential? No, definitely not. Which is crazy too, because Mechamaru, you would think Mechamaru would be able to be a special grade, but no, just temporary special grade. Just temporary special grade. Curses or sorcerers? Sorcerers. Yuji cannot beat sorcerers. Have a good night. Yuji beats Hikari. Yeah, I would probably put Yuji over Hikari personally. I would probably put Yuji over Hikari personally. Personally, I would. Oh, damn. Glow's got the dissenting opinion the moment he leaves. Wah, wah. Because the thing is with Yuji's soul attacks are going to consistently wear Hikari down no matter what. Even if Hikari can continually refresh and continually reset domain and everything like that with Jackpot, the soul attacks are something that Hikari cannot heal. That's just not possible. Yuji could potentially do a pretty decent amount of damage to Hikari, and as long as Yuji can last long enough to wear Hikari down to 0% soul, he's cooked. The thing is Coconut. So yes, why I think Mekamaru and Yaga are separate is because the issue is when Mekamaru died, everything ceased. It was all over. And Mekamaru was also literally a cripple. Yaga could make self-sufficient cursed corpses that could act on their own completely separate from Yaga. Even if you took Yaga out, the army of never-ending pandas could continue. And technically speaking, if Yaga was able to teach the cursed corpse pandas how to replicate the curse technique, technically speaking, the army could self-sustain even after Yaga died. So there is a reason why they were like, dog, if you can do this, we got to kill you now. So speak up. Can you make this shit or not? Tell us right now because we got to kill you if so. That's true. Yaga's just the maker, not the hive mind like Akichi. I understand. Yeah, definitely. I think that's the main difference. While Kokichi was definitely able to reach like a temporary special grade level, especially with being able to like store his cursed energy up. Yeah, 110%. But yeah, I think that is the clear distinction. Is Sukuna truly deserving of special grade? I think Sukuna is definitely deserving of special grade without a doubt because we have to remember that Sukuna, if Sukuna was fully healed, even Yuta says it. You know, even Yuta says it of all people, who's probably the next closest person in power besides Akari to Sukuna. There or I guess I mean like I guess like in overall fighting because Akari is a good matchup for Sukuna, right? So Akari is a really good matchup for Sukuna. Just based off of the immortality and the malevolent shrine thing. But yeah, I think Sukuna being able to literally no diff the Shinjuku Shodan squad entirely and basically all of Jujutsu Society on his own, if he was left 100% to his full devices, yeah, without a doubt, Sukuna is definitely special grade. Like Sukuna is just an absolute fucking demon. My opinion on Higuruma Hiromi is the GOAT. I don't know if I would give Higuruma special grade. He's a really good grade one. He's got a really good technique, but I don't know. Higuruma is definitely not special grade. He's got high potential, and he could be a really strong grade one once he actually learns how to fight in real combat, gets more experience, and all that stuff. But yeah, it's just nah. Yeah, mind you, Sukuna can probably open 5 to 6 domains a day. Yeah, literally, I think Sukuna opened his domain about 3 or 4 times before he had to start breaking his brain like Gojo. Like, it actually was insane. Actually was insane. Without a doubt. Sukuna's special grade. That's not even a question. Don't you think Yuji beats Gojo during hidden inventory before his awakening? Not if he's using Limitless. And I don't know if Yuji's going to survive a 2-3 day battle with Gojo. So no, I'd probably still put Teen Gojo over Yuji personally. A debate all upper moons versus special grades from JJK. Who wins? The special grades from JJK without a doubt. I heard about a debate all blah blah blah. Yuji beat Mahito. I don't care that he had help. Mahito wouldn't have lost without Yuji. Fuck out of here. I mean, again, mostly my point is special grade sorcerers, not so much curses. But again, it's also important to realize that like Yuji didn't beat a single special grade curse on his own. Yuji always has help. Almost always has help. Is Yorozu a special grade because her maximum techniques like Hollow Purple? Yorozu is a extremely strong sorcerer. Would I give Yorozu special grade? It's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if I would qualify her. She's strong as hell. I mean, she was able to 1v1 15 finger Sukuna. That's crazy. And her domain expansion is essentially like whoever goes inside this domain is cooked. It's over. Um, She's got a good argument. She's got a better fucking argument than Yuji does, that's for sure. In my honest opinion, to be special grade. I want to ask you this. If Gojo was born in the Heian era, would Sukuna lose? Um, Like Heianera Sukuna versus Gojo, I do think Heianera Sukuna would succeed in that battle personally. My chips would be on Heianera Sukuna every day. Between Heianera Sukuna and Gojo. It just would be. It just would be without a doubt. I think most special grade curses aren't true special grades except Rika. I think by the end of the series, most of the heavy hitters could beat Jogo and maybe Mahito. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Mahito is probably one of the biggest threats as a curse to still exists as a problem in this day and age, even by the end of the series. If Mahito was still around, he would be one of the biggest problems of all. Like without a doubt, he would still be a extremely difficult and dangerous curse spirit for anybody to fight. Unless your name is Maki. Maki would be the perfect counter. But besides that, like again, even Yuji loses his self defense without Sukuna. So he like, Mahito's still a problem. Yeah, but the issue is, and why I would argue for Yorozu, is with the insect armor, she was able to defeat the five Void Generals, and she was able to secure herself a place in the capital during the Heian era. So I guess, again, the thing is, and why I would hesitate to give her special grade is because, again, I don't know what the fuck that even means. We don't know how strong the five Void Generals are. We don't know what that feat even means. So again, I would like to think that that's a big deal and that is a special grade feat, but we don't know. We never got the Heian era flashback. So as much as I would say like, hey, that probably means something, I can't speak for that. I don't know. So because the insect armor was meant to be fucking OP. And again, the person she fought was 15 Finger Sukuna using Maharaga without Yorozu's knowledge of Maharaga, right? So what you're saying is that special grade requires a huge AoE move. That's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying at all. You don't need a huge AoE attack. You just need to be so OP that a nation of sorcerers can't take you down. I'd argue Toto could take down a country. No. No, I don't think so. Not a country that has sorcerers. That's for sure. Which I don't think is the which I think is the whole point. I'd argue a lot of characters could take down a country. I had someone in my comments the other day telling me that Mei could take down a country with her crows through espionage. Boom, right there. Mei special grade. I think we have different takes on that. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people have different takes on the special grade sorcerer rank, which is it's weird because it seems pretty simple, but it seems like a lot of people do not, do not a lot of people again, I don't know where this, special grades can comfortably exercise special grade curses. Again, never said once in the entire story. Never said once in the entire story. Toji was fighting Gojo without seeing his techniques, and he still those Yuji and Yuta. That doesn't matter. I mean, Toji's fucking strong as hell. I just don't know if Toji would be able to fight all of Jujutsu Society on his own. He'd probably do a pretty good job, actually. Toji actually might meet that. Toji actually might meet the qualifications. I use special grade as a way to determine their strength, while some people use it as a title. Yeah, that's the issue. Is special grade was never meant to be a strength thing. That's what we have grades 4 through 1 for. Grades 4 through 1 are strength thing. Special grade was never meant to be like a you reach this level of power. That's not the case. This is not the case. Ba ba ba. Hikari so OP. I mean, again, Hikari would probably lose to the Shinjuku Showdown squad. The titles don't even matter at the end of the series since the higher ups are, not even there anymore. I mean, sure, but then what are we arguing about? Are we just arguing that then like, oh, well, we should just change the definition of special grade now? Eh. You're talking like you wrote the story and you have insider info about what special grade is supposed to be. I don't think so because this information is readily available to everyone. It's not really secret. It just seems like you might have missed it personally. Phone stream telling people they were wrong is funny. It's just it's so like I like doing things because I like to talk with the community and hang out with you guys, but also at the same time I'd be seeing crazy comments. Crazy comments. Do you remember the guy saying Yuji would be able to take down a country by poisoning the water supply? That's like yes, that's what I mean. Like if we're reducing special grade to someone being able to poison a country's water supply, and that's how we've taken down a nation. What the fuck are we even talking about at this point, right? Like at that point, what are we okay? I can do that. Probably. Does that make me a special grade sorcerer? At that point, we're just arguing to argue. There's not even logic behind it. Some sorcerers I don't think could just flat out take down a country, but could take over. I mean, all four special grade sorcerers can probably take down a nation of sorcerers without a doubt. Just reading chat right now. I did see Don episode 3. It was a fucking awesome. The choreography they added to Evil Eye was fucking great. Special grade is just better than grade one, but never explained by how much. No, special grade is not just better than grade one. It's just that is not the case. The special grade again is not just I think this narrative began when people thought Teen Gojo and Geto got promoted to special grade, which never happened. Teen Gojo and Geto were always special grade. You don't get promoted to special grade. You just are special grade or you aren't special grade. Now that I hear the water supply thing, my statement just sounds silly, but that begs the question: what does it mean for a special grade to take down a country and have it count? It means that a sorcerer, being able to take that down, basically means a sorcerer can alone stand against an entire Jujutsu society, which all special grades you know, are capable of. Yuta got re-promoted though. Yuta got re-promoted after they realized that because Yuta was marked special grade for Rika. They took away the special grade when Rika was gone because they said, okay, he's no longer a threat, he's no longer a problem. Only for them to realize that he was still able to copy curse techniques and still able to summon Rika all the same. So his threat level did not change. So that's why they reclassified him as special grade. They took it away because they were like, hey, you lost the reason we even made you special grade for. That's really what it is. Elfman, Elfman, I see you chatting more about me not seeing your comments than what you actually wanted me to read. That's all I see, honestly. I don't see what you want me to respond to. I just keep seeing you asking if I see your messages. So special grade is literally just a warning label. Basically, it's literally just, hey, this person can fucking destroy all of us. We're gonna keep this guy on special tabs here. No, it's not. No, the person named Op is wrong again. He wasn't promoted again. He was reclassified as special grade because they realized he still served just as much of a threat as he did with. That's the whole reason. That's the whole reason. Well, they weren't like, wow. Again, they weren't like, wow, Yuta, you did so good. Here's the special grade rank because you're so strong. That's not what special grade is for. You're not like they don't want special grades. Jujutsu High does not want, they don't want special grade sorcerers. You being a special grade is not a good thing. They give you special grade when they don't want you around. And they literally can't, but they can't kill you either. They realized he was just as much of a threat is never stated. But you know what else is instated? That he was promoted. He was re-given the special grade class when they realized that. You know what? Let's look it up. Let's look it up. Because you know what? Maybe I am wrong. Let's see. I know exactly what chapter it is. 173. The very end of 173. And also, this is a fucking terrible translation. 3 months after the night parade of 100 demons, Yuta came back to become a special grade sorcerer, second only to Satoru Gojo in unusual abilities. So 3 months after the night parade of 100 demons, Yuta came back to become a special grade sorcerer. I mean, at that point, we are just arguing semantics, right? Like, again, but the thing is the reason why Yuta was given special grade was because he was second only to Satoru Gojo. He literally could still pose a threat to their society. That's the whole point. Principal Yaga was given special grade after enhancing his technique and creating Panda. Principal Yaga is one of the greatest things that I love to bring up because Principal Yaga was killed by Gaku Kanji. And they were going to give Principal Yaga a special grade. So that proves that it has nothing to do with, oh, this character can beat this character. That doesn't matter. Yaga can't beat that character. You can become special grade. No character. No, you either are special grade or you aren't. So incredibly dense, you did not read. The mind is thoroughly, you claim there is literally a graph showing that somebody who can defeat a special grade curse qualifies for a special grade, but you're still trying to claim some sort of. I claim there's a literal graph showing that somebody who can defeat a special grade curse qualifies special grade. I don't know if you're completely misunderstanding what I'm saying. You can literally here. Let's see. I think it's what is it? It's the chapter right after. It's the chapter right before they go into the detention center. Where is that in the manga? That's right in the beginning. And then Ijichi literally explains. Oh no, that's not what it is. That's not when he gets the explanation. When does Ijichi give Yuji the explanation of the ranking systems? Is that earlier? I don't remember exactly when, but either way, it's like the you can literally look up the chart. You can literally look it up. Norris. You'll even not even be able to see Fuga. Norris, I see you. Taurus, I gotta. Okay. I fucking love Toji, but he is not beating Sukuna. Prove me wrong. Toji's not beating Sukuna. No, Toji's definitely not beating Sukuna. Is it Mekamaru a special grade or semi-special grade? No, Mekamaru is not. He was basically able to say, like, he was almost like a temporary special grade. There's literally a graph that shows that special grade cursors are on par with special grade sorcerers and that are equivalent straight from the manga. So let me get this straight. Mongolian Chop Squad. So what you're telling me is that the Finger Bearer Curse Spirit is on par with all of the special grade sorcerers, right? Is that what you're saying? You're saying that special grade sorcerers are equivalent to special grade curses. Is that your argument? I just want to be clear. I just want to make sure. Because if that is the argument, I don't know if I can save you. Quite literally, I don't know. I don't know if I can help you here. The Finger Bearer gets mogged by Mei. I had people in my comments on the short that I made the other day telling me that Mei would lose to the Finger Bearer. People think Mei would lose to the Finger Bearer. Huh? Can we talk about if Wee got traumatized at the Mei scene? I don't know. I have no idea if Wee got traumatized after the Mei scene. Best option here is to say special grade has two roots to it, special and technique. No, there's no need to say that special grade has two roots to it because we have a concrete definition that all four sorcerers that are ranked as special meet. The only reason we would need to take a special option is if we were bending the rules to give someone special grade, but we don't need to do that. But to be clear, the initial definitions and clarifications of special grade match all four of the special grades we have. The difference is people want other characters that don't meet that definition to be special grade. So that's why we need to change the definition. But we don't need to change the definition. That's not how words work. We don't change the definition of things because we want things to be different. We accept things as they are. And unfortunately, we can all agree that Yuji and other characters like it most likely are extremely powerful. But that does not make them special grade. We are only talking about sorcerers. We are only talking about sorcerers. The one guy the one guy in the chat was talking about curses. So maybe this is where we're getting confused. I might be responding to two different people at once. But 110%. You're not being truthful. You're talking in bad faith, even by ignoring my previous message about a literal graph explaining this in the manga. You don't have to guess and make up. I'm not guessing and make. This is what I mean. You know what I mean? Like, the only person that's using the exact material from the manga so far, not saying obviously there's people in chat that agree with me, but I don't want to mean that. But like, you are arguing with me over me using the exact words we get in the manga. That's my favorite part about the people that get so ass mad and butthurt about me saying these things is because they're like, oh, you can't read. But I'm literally using the source material. You're the one that is adding stuff to the source material or changing things. You know, I literally, like I said, like, I've been following the series for I think almost 3-4 years now. It's actually insane how long I've been reading this, and I literally reread all of this before coming on here. So I do feel very confident, and maybe that's why it's upsetting you because I'm very confident in what I'm saying. I'm not like, oh well, I think this is what's happening, and I'm pretty sure this is what was said. Like maybe that's what you expected, but I yes, and that's why you think that I'm talking like I wrote the story myself. I'm not. I just told you that there's a graph in the manga. Yes, and you can look in the manga, and that graph doesn't say what you said. That graph doesn't say what you said. I know it doesn't because I know the exact graph that you're talking about because that's the graph that I'm referencing. It does show them as the equivalent. If you think, again, if you are putting the finger bearer special grade on the same level as special grade curses, please. If that's the argument you want to make, no problem. Do you think Yuji would be special grade? Blah blah blah. Once he's mastered blood manipulation shrine, if so, that doesn't mean he became special grade instead of being it. No, I don't think Yuji would be special grade once he mastered blood manipulation and shrine. I don't think Yuji would be special grade. No. Yuki versus Yuji depends on who hits first. No, even if Yuji hits Yuki first, she still wins. I promise you. While Shinjuku Shodan Yuji isn't a social grade, do you think he has the potential by training and mastering Shrine? No. Again, I don't believe that you can just become or a special grade. I think you either are or you aren't. Yuji's definitely the standard for Yuji's probably one of the strongest grade ones, 110%. Like, I understand what you're saying with like the whole graph and everything like that, but that's also like it literally says a graph of the old system used to determine grades. But like I said, the graph isn't what I want to get stuck on because quite literally the graph does not matter. We have multiple designations and clarifications in the story. Yes, special grade sorcerers, special grade curses have a vast, huge range, a huge spectrum. That's why you've got the finger bearer curse and Kurarushi. I would never say the finger bearer curse is on the same level as special grade sorcerers. Like, if you want to use the graph as gospel, please, like I said, if that's the argument you want to make, I'm more than happy to accept that argument, and I'll think you're crazy. That's fine. Yuji definitely beats Adult Ghetto. I wouldn't. I don't know if he would. That's the thing. Because I can't physically speak to you, and I have to type, so I can't keep up. I mean, the only reason you're even still arguing about this, you're right. You would roll me so hard in this argument that it's only because you have to use. It's only because you have to type. You're right. Just because all special grade sorcerers are strong doesn't mean special grade means strong. Just to get this straight, I mean, if you want to reduce it down to that, I mean, you could. I mean, look at Yaga. I mean, again, Yaga got beat by Gaku Kanji. However, Yaga was almost deemed special grade because if he was able to create the Panda Cursed Army, he could have threatened the entire nation of Jujutsu Society. He could have threatened all of Jujutsu Society and taken down the higher ups. So that's the point. That's the point. That's why I know a lot of people are like, oh, like Ghetto is only special grade when he has a certain number of curses. No, it's the entire idea that Ghetto can stockpile curses together and the Jujutsu Society can't know how many curses he has at a time. They would never be able to know and keep track of all of the curses that he has. They would never be able to. He's too much of a. He's a liability. He's a problem. And we see that come into play in Volume Zero. We literally watch it happen. Wah, wah, wah. Basically, if your potential is nation threatening, you're a special grade. It's essentially, it is Otaku Talks. What's going on? How you doing? Um, it is again, and nation is very again like nation as in a nation of sorcerers. A nation of sorcerers. Very important distinction. Very important distinction, I promise you. Oh, you think that even if Yuji hit Yugi with a Black Flash, he would still win? Yes, I do. 110%. Without a doubt. I wouldn't even question it. I don't think Yuji would one shot Yuki Tsukumo. No. Absolutely not. The same Yuki Tsukumo that tanked all of Kenjaku's sure hit guaranteed domain expansion. No. I think she'd be able to take at least, maybe two, maybe three, maybe three, maybe four. I remember them saying nation, but not nation of sorcerers. The sorcerers is implied, right? The sorcerers, again, because just being able to take over a country doesn't mean anything. There's plenty of characters that are able to take over a country. The helicopter man was giving the United States Army a problem. The finger bearer isn't even what the chart is referring to. Well, the finger bearer is a special grade curse, and the chart is referring to all curses and all sorcerers. So, I think the finger bearer is an important thing to distinguish because if the graph is immediately starts to be weird, if we start putting real life examples on it, then it doesn't really make it a good graph, does it? Unless I'm mistaken, he can just Black Flash Shane whenever he wants now. No, Yuji cannot control Black Flash at will. No one can control Black Flash at will. It is completely impossible to control Black Flash at will. Yuji can string a bunch of Black Flashes together. He's probably the best fucking person at hitting Black Flashes, but Yuji can't hit Black Flash on command. No one can hit Black Flash on command. Given your definition of a special grade, is there anyone who you think should have had the title that didn't? No, I don't think so. I think everyone's special grade that needed to be special grade. I don't think there were any new special grades that popped up, honestly. Maybe I'll change that opinion going forward. but I really don't. I don't think so. What ceiling are you placing on master above manipulation and shrine? I think he is in the special grade in the final fight. I think he might have the potential if he were to master those techniques. I don't think so. I don't think those techniques would make him able to take down um, Jujutsu Society any easier. How is it implied? They say a country in Japan is pretty much the only country with sorcerers, so why make it ambiguous instead of specifying that sorcerers are included? Because Sandolphin, again, that would mean that anybody that could take, because again, that's the whole point. If Mei Mei is able to take down a country, that ruins the whole point of special grade. The reason, again, we're getting dumbed down. We're not dumbed down. We're getting harped. We're harping on semantics. We're harping on very specific things. The nation. Okay, so that means that this person can take down this person can take down, Guam, or they can take down Malaysia. Because at that point, what nation are we talking about then? Are we talking about the United States? Are we talking about the Vatican? Because again, if we are then making that distinction and we're just saying anybody can take down the Vatican, again, the Vatican doesn't have any military. So, I mean, a lot of sorcerers could probably take down that kind of country. So that's what I mean is the nation of sorcerers is heavily implied because if it wasn't implied, then what would the fucking point be, right? Then anybody could just get special grade. Nanami could go to Malaysia for his retirement, fucking start throwing 7-3 ratio technique around and become king, declare himself king. Ah, shit, now Nanami's special grade because he took over Malaysia. That's nah. Anybody who could just take over a single nation without sorcerers wouldn't be special grade. That's why it's ambiguous on purpose. Implied in context via us talking. Yes, there you Otaku Talks. Thank you so much. Yes, 100%. I think the higher ups establish special grade to see who would be the biggest threat to them. Exactly. 110%. That is the point. That's why Yuta is marked as special the moment he shows up, because Rika could have fucking easily destroyed all of Jujutsu Society. That's the point. I think Gege needs to clarify the ranking because it makes sense, but his words confuse it because he literally involved other countries in the manga after explaining the system. No, I think it's very clear. Again, I think special grade only becomes wishy-washy when people try to give special grade to characters that don't deserve it. I think that is literally only when special grade becomes wishy-washy. If you want to argue characters like, is Yorozu special grade? Are characters like Ishigori Ryu a special grade? I think those are reasonable debates and arguments to have. Because again, Ishigori Ryu has the highest curse energy output in history. He doesn't need to refresh after a domain expansion. The amount of damage he's capable of doing, it's possible that he could pose a threat to all of Jujutsu Society at once. Is he actually able to fight every sorcerer and win at the same time? I don't know about that, but that's a reasonable discussion to have. I'm sorry, Yuji does not meet the criteria of having a reasonable discussion about this. To me, it just doesn't. So, given you believe that people cannot become special grade, what if someone has a Yuta Rika situation later in life? Would they not become special grade? I mean, at that point, are we not splitting hairs, right? Like, if someone was to bond with a special grade curse spirit that was able to take down all of Jujutsu Society and threaten even characters of Gojo's level, then yeah, I would argue that they become special grade. But like again, that's not what I mean by that. Like at that point, again, we're reducing the one word that I say and say, see, haha, like you're wrong. I'm not saying you're doing this, OP. I don't want you to think that I'm being mean to you, but I'm just saying in general, when we make these kinds of arguments, like that's what I don't really like. That's what I kind of mean is like, again, I feel like we are reducing what the overall point was always supposed to be. Everyone has their own opinions. We can't do much about that. To see it. I'll see you later, games fan. The one thing I will say is the reason why I'm so not bent out of shape out of this, I would say, because I don't care. But The reason why I come on here and I'm willing to debate these things is because honestly, some of these things aren't opinion. Some of these things aren't opinion. Like the definition of a special grade is explained to us multiple times. There's no reason that we should be debating something like this. It's very simple. It's explained to us in the story. Mastering blood manipulation and shrine would definitely put him at special grade because he would have Sukuna's curse technique and more. Okay, well if the concept of the stream was is Yuji going to be special grade in Jujutsu Kaisen 2, then maybe I'd be more willing to open this up. But also again, I don't think blood manipulation. What like what? Who cares about blood manipulation, dog? Why do people bring up blood manipulation like it's this great curse technique for Yuji to have, and this is gonna make or break Yuji in fights? Kamo Noritoshi was garbage, absolutely terrible. What up, Anime Matrix? Like, why do we bring up blood manipulation like it's this all-powerful curse technique? You want to know why people do that? Because they think of Choso. And Choso is able to use blood manipulation at such a great level because he literally has unlimited, quote unquote, quotations, unlimited blood. Unlimited blood. Yuji does not have unlimited blood. Yuji just can't create fucking giant fucking blood tsunamis like fucking Choso can. Why do we talk like blood manipulation is a big deal? Yuji can't even use convergence, and even if he did use convergence, he can't just use fucking blood piercing blood all the time. He's using his own blood. Kamo has to carry around packs of blood with him because he can't use his own blood. Because if he does, he puts himself in fatigue. What are we talking about? Yuji was stated to have a death painting body, so Yuji just has unlimited blood. So Yuji just has unlimited blood now. Yuji can't bleed out because he ate the death fetuses. Is that what we're saying now? Yuji is stated to have gained a death painting body. Is that what was stated? Was Yuji stated to have gained a death painting body? That I don't know about. I think we need to delete crashing out from our vocabulary because no one uses that term right at all. No one uses crashing out whatsoever. Yes, because he can convert cursed energy into blood like Choso. That's so 110%. I've got to tell you right now, 110%. Yes, like he can do the same thing that Choso can, but the difference is again, Choso is full curse spirit. Choso has more cursed energy than Yuji does, dog. Do you not understand why there's a difference here? That's why fighting people like Hanami and Jogo are like they're able to just regenerate completely. There's a big difference here. There's a huge difference to that. And also, not for nothing, Yuji literally fell to his knees mid Shinjuku Showdown. Mid Shinjuku Showdown. There's not a single statement. Choso is a curse. Choso is a curse. Yuji does not have unlimited blood. This is not the argument that we're going on about. We're not going to sit here and argue that Yuji is able to use blood manipulation on the level of Choso because again, Yuji hasn't even mastered blood manipulation by the end of the story. So actually, I don't even know why we're even arguing about this. How does being a curse correlate to curse energy amount? Muhammad Ali Bailan, I'm going to just assume that you've read through TikTok if you're saying something like that. I'm just going to assume that you've read through TikTok. You didn't watch the first season of the anime. You didn't read the first couple of chapters of the story because Like these are very simple and basic concepts in this the story that cursed spirits are literally made of negative energy. They're made of negative energy. They are able to regenerate and reform. That's the whole point. Like, yes, Choso is in a human vessel, but Choso is a different case compared to everybody else. Choso is able to yes, he's able to convert cursed energy into blood, but by nature of being a curse, Choso has a is like it's the same thing as like when they were fighting Hanami, when they were fighting Jogo. Like no matter how much damage you do to these characters, they're going to continually regenerate and regenerate and regenerate and regenerate until they're completely burned out of cursed energy. And again, Yuji hasn't even mastered blood manipulation. We're arguing about a headcanon Yuji right now. Yes, he can't use convergence, but he should be able to do basically everything else. You realize that everything involves convergence. Yuji can't use piercing blood without convergence. Yuji can't use supernova without convergence. Yuji can't even use something simple like a blood blade without convergence. You know what Yuji can do? He can fucking spit his fucking blood out. He can spit his blood out and fucking hope that it boils. You know? Like literally night and day. Hold on. I fucking wiped my screen and I. There we go. Wiped my screen when I checked my notifications. There we go. Not a fully cursed spirit. Again, I don't want to get. I don't. Choso does not use RCT to heal. He's a cursed spirit hybrid in a human vessel. Crazy how bro definitely sees my messages, but now he's just ducking logic. I already answered the whole thing about the graph again. If your argument is the finger bearer cursed spirit is the same level as characters like Gojo, then that's fine. If you want to say that, that's fine. BM as it is now isn't much of a bonus for him, but you can tell me that you can't tell me that catching a punch from a blood doped Yuji wouldn't put most people out cold since once he actually does get it. I mean, maybe it might, but that's not what happens. Caught off guard by the spitting sound. What are we talking about now? What's spitting sound? Did I make a sound I didn't even realize? I don't think that was me. Maybe that was me wiping my camera. I don't know. Choso literally tells Yuji you figured out reverse curse technique faster than I did. Okay. What does that have to do with anything? Was Yuji's domain ever explained? I mean, it's basically just his soul dismantle attack. I do mean special grade sorcerers. I can't pull up the graph on my phone. I would have to end stream and then restart stream, and I'm not doing that. I promise you. Oh, the thing when you did when... Oh, I forgot I did that. I forgot I did that. Just point your phone at the screen right in front of you. No, I'm not gonna do that. Like I said again, the graph doesn't matter. It's like we're talking about just such dumb, small little things that I mean. We have to like, we have to focus on. Might have short-term memory loss. Yeah, when it comes to dumb stuff like that, I can't remember, but I can promise you. Can promise you. I'm pretty confident on what I'm talking about now. Yuji soul dismantles are just dismantles against anyone not Mahito or not incarnated, and it's unprovable otherwise. Actually, you know what? Honestly, Muhammad Ali, I would have thought the same thing, but I actually completely disagree with you. I completely disagree with you. 110%. I actually think that Yuji's soul attacks, based off the way that Sukuna describes it, Sukuna literally describes the attacks as employing the exact same thing as when Yuji is battling Mahito, and Mahito isn't a curse inside of a vessel or anything like that. So I would argue that Yuji genuinely can reduce people's soul and hurt people's soul with his attacks. And again, at that point, it really just comes down to how much soul damage you think each character is able to take, which then we're getting into headcanon, so it's tough. Do I think Mahito's technique on a sorcerer would be special grade? Honestly, probably yeah. If a sorcerer had if a sorcerer had idle transfiguration, probably. Idle transfiguration is insane, and you can also make all the transfigured humans. Yeah, I would think. I would think idle transfiguration would definitely be like a if a sorcerer had idle transfiguration, they would definitely be special grade. Only case I think there is that Yuji might be able to beat young Gojo thanks to Domain, but that still wouldn't make him special grade. Yeah, Benjamin, I agree with that. I think Domain would probably be able to do that. You can take over a country with it. You can get hell creative with it. You literally have upgraded CS. The thing he employed against Mahito was never usable against anyone else throughout the series, though. Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. I think it's easier to just give Yuji the soul attacks than to not. But I do see what you're saying. I see both sides, honestly. I'm not gonna. I don't want to argue too hard on that. I definitely don't because it really, like you said, it's not verifiable either way. They don't really do. Gege didn't really do such great of a job explaining Yuji's final things at the end. I like I said, I think it's just. I think from everything that we've seen and everything that the dialogue explains after rereading it, I think it makes sense that Yuji would just have soul. Um, but again, I wouldn't argue too hard if he did or didn't. Like, it really is unclear completely. Um, Honestly, if Yuji doesn't have soul attacks, his winning percentage against a lot of characters does go down. Honestly. Oh, wow. You might want to reread the material. There's a binding vow involved. Yes, based vibes. Thank you for that. But that binding vow specifically is with Yuji's dismantles. It has nothing to do with the general punches that Yuji is using, right? That's also extremely important to realize. That binding vow, the exact binding vow you're talking about, is only for the dismantle. UGA gaming is still going on. I have been honestly, Noah, I've been defending UG more in this stream than I've been hating on him. To be completely honest with you, I've been defending him more than fucking hating him. People just don't want to hear the truth. The Eugene Blue Lock would go crazy. Yeah, that's true. This is insanity. I mean, again, I know exactly. I read the exact page that you're talking about. I read the exact page you're talking about. I promise you, it is it. The binding vow specifically is in regards to the dismantle attack because the dismantle attack is normally physical, but Yuji made the binding vow to make the physical dismantles change into affecting the barrier between Megami and Sukuna's soul. The finger bearer is a special grade. If you don't think the finger bearer is a special grade, then I don't know what to tell you. The smallpox deity is a special grade. Mei was able to exercise the smallpox curse. It's like it's yeah. Choso was considered a special grade curse. You know? Some silly people think Yuji can beat Yuta. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Yuji can beat Yuta by any means. Takaba is a very weird case. Takaba is a very interesting case because Takaba can't really kill people, but also at the same time, most people aren't going to be able to do against Takaba what Kenjaku did. Like, remember, like, Takaba is so interesting because if Kenjaku didn't have all of that very special and specific, unique knowledge on comedy because he was 1,000 years old and everything like that, then most people are just going to get stun locked forever until they run out of cursed energy and lose against Takaba. The biggest thing that's unclear is if you can use domain expansion while in Takaba's comedian technique. Because the issue is, if you can use domain expansion, then you would just cut through all of the bullshit and sure hit affect Takaba. However, the thing is, and the issue with that is that Kenjaku didn't use domain expansion that whole entire fight when he definitely could have. So you would just have to you would that's really what's unclear is, was Kenjaku able to use domain and he simply, chose not to, or is Takaba's ability, because it seemed like Kenjaku kept getting like pulled into and immersed in the comedy routines, right? If that is the case and it takes away your actual fighting spirit and you're not able to combat or defend yourself because you're literally stuck in the, comedian abilities, then you're kind of cooked, honestly. He didn't because he was afraid of Yuta and Maki coming. That's also a good point. Godspeed. That's also a really good point as to why he didn't use domain expansion, is he was trying to save his cursed energy for if Maki or Yuta did a sneak attack. That's also a very good point. You could definitely use that argument. It's just the issue is just we just don't have full concrete information as to why domain was not used. That could very well be the case, and I definitely wouldn't argue against that. I definitely wouldn't argue against that. It's just, again, that's one of those things as well by the end that just isn't clarified specifically. Oof, gotta crack my neck. That's crazy. You just need 10 out of 10 trash talk against Takaba. The thing, and the only reason why I would fight against that is specifically because trash talking Takaba only works, and it only worked when Kenjaku did it because it felt like Kenjaku knew what he was talking about, right? And I think that's also very important. Is Takaba even says this in the fight. He's like, it feels like I'm being criticized by like one of the greats. It feels like I'm being criticized by a professional. Like, plenty of people talk shit to Takaba, and plenty of people, don't get Takaba's jokes. Like, even when you see Takaba fight, what's his name? Iori, what's his name? Hazanoki. I love Hazanoki, by the way. Cool character design. When Takaba fights Hazanoki's like, that's not funny. This is stupid. Blah 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 blah. And like even when he's like in the group fight with Reggie and Hazanoki and Megami, no one gets his jokes. Specifically, what it really is you have to get under his skin. You have to make him feel like he's not funny, because Takaba doesn't care if you're just talking shit, you don't get the joke. Takaba is able to roll with that. What Kenjaku was able to do to Takaba was Kenjaku was able to lay his entire joke out on the table and break it down bit by bit as to why that joke wasn't funny and why it didn't work. And when doing that, Kenjaku literally almost hijacked the scene, because again, it's kind of like imagination. It's almost like Gremmy from Bleach. Like, if Takaba believes that your criticism is real, if he believes that your criticism is legitimate, then he's gonna believe it. But if he just thinks you're someone that doesn't know shit about comedy and you're just another audience member or another heckler, he's not gonna care. Kenjaku did to Takaba what my boss does to me on a regular, like, literally, like, it's one of those things that I've heard. I've heard people say all the time. It's like, if someone that doesn't know what it's like if you work in like STEM or some kind of crazy engineering job, right? Like, if someone that clearly doesn't work in STEM or engineering comes to you and like is like, oh, you're fucking dumb for doing this STEM engineering experiment. How could you? What a stupid thing to focus on. You'd be like, I don't fucking know. You don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, you wouldn't even listen to them. You wouldn't even consider their opinion. Now, if the top STEM person in the field comes over to you and says, yeah, I think this is a poor waste of your time. I've talked with the Council of STEM, and we've agreed that this sounds pretty fucking dumb. You would take that criticism 10 times harder, because those people generally have a much better understanding of what you're doing. And it's kind of like that. like Takaba, like I don't think Takaba like would just get shit talked by like Sukuna or something. I think Sukuna would probably beat Takaba. That's not what I want to get into. But what I'm saying is I don't think Sukuna would have been able to reverse the fucking stage, like Kenjaku did. Or even what Kenjaku ended up doing to win, which was realizing that all Takaba wanted was a partner to finish his comedy routine with. And then once he did the comedy routine, he was satisfied and he was willing to end, and the fight ended. Right? Like Sukuna would have had to actually find a way to just beat the brakes off Takaba or kill him or something. Like he would have had to find a way to override the curse technique. Whereas Kenjaku was like, okay, instead of fighting the curse technique, I'm going to play with the technique and conclude the show naturally. Right? Like Sukuna would not understand that. You know what? Sukuna would have no idea what the fuck is going on. I still think Sukuna would obviously win though, but yeah. Yeah, through sheer fear mongering indeed. Do you think Akari would be able to be classified as special grade? I just don't think so. I don't think Akari would be able to handle a group of sorcerers beating the brakes off of him. If you get a group of sorcerers that can fight with Akari long enough to handle his 4 minutes 11 seconds, also important. Oh, I think we lost. I think we lost ourselves for a minute there. Damn, the Kyokusugetsu really did hit me. That complete hypnosis almost took down the stream. The thing with what was I gonna say? I just completely lost my train of thought. The thing with Akari that a lot of people don't remember, or don't take into account is Hikari does not get immortality until he hits jackpot the first time. Once he hits jackpot the first time, he's get the 4 minutes, 11 seconds, then he can redomain and everything and run the jackpot chain. But until he hits jackpot, he's completely vulnerable, right? And there's also no guarantee that when that jackpot will hit. It could either be the very first it could be the very first roll that he hits in the domain. It could be the 32nd roll that he hits in the domain. And the entire time that he's rolling, he needs to fight the person that's inside of his domain. So, like, if multiple sorcerers are fighting Hikari at once and he hasn't gotten jackpot yet, he's kind of cooked. Would Hikari be able to probably fight a big group of strong sorcerers in jackpot? Yeah, 110%. 110%. But once he loses it, it's done. Could just gamble before the fight and go out and fight. And that's the difference between temporary special grades and permanent full-time special grades. Whereas, like, Hikari is like only special grade when he's in his 4 minutes and 11 seconds, and then when he's out of the 4 minutes and 11 seconds, he's not special grade. That's kind of what I mean. That's kind of what I mean by that, right? Where that's kind of the conclusion I came to. Like, same with Mekamaru. Like, in that moment, Mekamaru was able to reach a potential special grade. But any other time, Mekamaru is not special grade. So I think that's the point of Hikari. And also, if Hikari was special grade, they would have ranked, they would have just given him special grade. That's also that's also my argument against Hikari being special grade as well. Why wouldn't they have just given Hikari special grade? It's not like he got stronger, like, over the course of the series. Hikari, where we meet him, was where he was at when Jujutsu Society left him. So, if Hikari was special grade, they probably would have just given him special grade. There's no reason not to either. Because he was a problem student. They had to suspend him, literally. They literally expelled him. So that's what I mean. Like, I feel like if Hikari was special grade, they definitely would have marked him as such. And I'm sure, like, I mean, I could definitely see people making the argument that, like, oh, like, Gege had already said there were 4 special grades. He didn't want to add Hikari. At that point, again, sure, I guess I wouldn't even hold you that hard. I wouldn't even hold you that hard. Crackpot reasoning, special grades get a salary higher than the Japanese prime minister, so they didn't want to fund Hikari's gambling. I mean, they were willing to fund Yuki to fuck off and do whatever she wanted. I mean, there's remember again, like that's also like what like that also is what goes into my interpretation of special grade, which is like there's a reason why they pay these sorcerers that they don't like so much money because they don't want them to turn on them. They give them such a high salary, even though Yuki doesn't even clock in, they still send her paychecks because they're like, hey, please don't kill us. You know, we pay you such good money, and like we'll still pay you. I mean, it's okay if you don't want to show up to work today. It's I mean, it's your seventh year of calling out in a row, but I feel like Akari just didn't care enough to become a threat. I mean, my argument for that is Yuta wasn't. They gave Yuta special grade and set him up for execution day one. So I don't think it's as much as like caring about a threat. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Yuta wanted to be executed, and they still made him special grade. You want to talk about he didn't care enough to be a threat? So yeah, it's I just like look. My argument, because we've been going for 2 hours now. I'm gonna start losing my voice if I keep yapping like this. I think we've had some very good, funny moments and funny sound bites and funny highlights in this stream. Wasn't that because Yuta could lose control of Rika? Yeah, 110%. Sure, you could definitely say that. But again, they gave him special grade after he gained control of Rika, right? So that's also my point. Like, sure, yeah, they marked him for execution, and then what happened after they gave him special grade again? They didn't mark him for execution after that. They said, "Oh, whoa, we're sorry, Yuta. Here's this nice ass salary as a student, as a 16-year-old child. Please, take it, and you know what? We're sorry. We even set you up for execution in the first place. It's the same thing with Yuji, right? Like the only thing that I would argue in place of Yuji not being special grade from the start is you could argue that because Yuji only had one finger at the time, they didn't specify him as special because they knew he even if he did lose control, it wasn't the full power of Sukuna. But even at the same time, I mean, Three Finger Sukuna was no diffin fucking special grade finger bearer, so they had plenty of time to mark Yuji as special grade. I think I think there's a specific reason for why they didn't do these things. Because, like I said, let me call this stream to an end. We've been going for almost 2 hours now. I'm losing my voice. Um, I think the reason that characters like Yuji, characters like Hikari weren't given special grade off the rip is because of the stark contrast and the stark gap that exists between grade one and special grade. Like, a lot of people mention Yuta day one special grade as like, well, Yuji's stronger than Yuta day one. Sure. If I end of series Yuji might be stronger than volume zero Yuta. Um, but again, at the time of volume zero, the only person that could have stopped Rika was either Gojo or Geto. Rika alone could have destroyed everyone. Everybody. One Finger Sukuna, maybe there are people that could have handled One Finger Sukuna. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what the thought process was, but clearly they thought they could handle it. So I'll leave you with this. Everyone, first of all, make sure you hit that like button if you have not already. It really helps the stream way more than you know. And if this was an entertaining stream, I genuinely please, I do hope that you hit the like button. I hope it was entertaining. I had a lot of fun. Again, all of this is just shits and giggles for me. While I want to make it very clear that I don't just, rage bait. I hope everyone can tell that like I'm not someone that just fucking talks shit. I do genuinely have I believe what I say at the very least, right? I believe what I say. Even if you disagree with me, at least know that I believe what I say, and I'm willing to stand on these streams simply because I like I said I hope that at least you're able to see that again. At least you're able to see that I'm not just turning on the YouTube camera and saying whatever the fuck I want with no understanding of how to back up my argument whatsoever, right? So I that's why I like doing these streams, because I feel like we get a much more personal connection here, as opposed to when I just drop a YouTube short that's 50 seconds long and you guys watch that and you're like, what the fuck is No Op talking about? Because not only was I not able to put my full context in a 50-second video, um, again, some of these topics, when you look at them, like I said, it's the same thing that I get so many chats on them. Is this just rage bait? Is this just rage bait? Like, no, because at first glance, it seems like it, right? It does seem like it. But again, that's why I like to do these streams. I can fully get out my points. I can talk with you guys and go up against what you guys say. And yeah, sometimes some people aren't happy with that, but I enjoy it. I think it's fun. Um, I like Gain just once argued infinity isn't space being infinitely divided and it's just slowing down of objects. Well, I mean, it is. I mean, infinity isn't. Well, I think that's what I kind of mean, right? Well, infinity isn't infinite space, but infinity is being divided. Infinity to slow down objects. I think that might have been the miscommunication there. I don't think it's a little bit of it's exactly what Coconut said. It's actually both. It's a little bit of both. I wouldn't even hold you on that. And well, because it's just a regular slash that TPs on you, I stand by that. I stand by that 110%. The world cutting slash 100% just shows up wherever you exist. I will fight to the death on that. But I don't want to start a whole new debate again when I'm trying to end stream. But just know that that's completely fine. You know what I mean? Maybe we can set that up for the next stream, and maybe I can talk about a little bit more of why I believe that it's TP, like it's literally just a teleporting slash as opposed to a traveling slash. But again, I don't want to start that argument. We'll disagree. We'll agree to disagree for right now. I love you. But anyway, I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you all so much for showing up to stream. Very fun stream. And I appreciate any of you guys giving me time of day. Again, anyone that takes a second of their time to watch my content, I appreciate. Just know that whether we agree, disagree, whether you leave a hate comment, whether you talk shit, and whether we go back and forth in stream, just know that I appreciate you. I wouldn't change, this community for the world. I love you guys. If you haven't already, please, please, please watch my fucking Pokemon videos. I love read Pokemon Adventures manga. It's the shit. When Jujutsu Kaisen anime comes back, you can definitely always expect some more Jujutsu Kaisen content. I got plenty of ideas in the bank. I'm just waiting for second season, the third season to get announced, to drop them. So until then, I'm gonna be, check out the Pokemon videos. I'll be working on some Tokyo Ghoul videos. I've got a very fun video on Betrayal coming out in the next couple of days, so look out for that. Thank you so much to GamerSups for sponsoring the stream. Use code NOOP, gamersubs.gg/NOOP. Use code NOOP for 10% off. My favorite flavors are BBL, GG, and JFJ Snake Oil. So check that out. Again, hit that like button if you haven't already. Drink water, stay hydrated. Love you all so, 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 so much. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.